is 101. This is W295AP, Choice 106.9 FM, and 980 AM, WRNE, Gulf Breeze, Pensacola, Florida. We're on the World Web, also broadcasting now at www.WRNE980.com. It's time now for Attorney Fred Gatt to come on the air to talk about some personal issues as relates to keeping the family in order, planning for the family financially, and also set up estates where the family can make an easy transition from one generation to the next generation. He also does last wills and testament. He also does adoptions and divorces as well, and some other things as well. If you got a question you'd like to ask him about some of those issues, you can call us right now and get some free legal advice at 850-478-6000, 850-479-0980. Good afternoon, sir. How are you doing?
Doing fine, Bob. How you doing, Bob? I'm doing great, man. Good afternoon to you, too.
That is terrific. That is terrific. It's a Wednesday afternoon, and we are here to help some people as we did last week.
That's right. Happy Wednesday, audience. Thanks for calling in, for tuning in. I'm also on TV, also WBQP station, and will be it's going to air, being taped now. You should watch their station and be aired at some point in time on the WBQP. So look for my show on their station, okay? On the TV station, channel 12, I believe it is.
12-1.
12-1. Okay, great. Bob, again, thank you for having me be my host for the show. 1 o'clock every Wednesday here in Pensacola, Florida. We're talking about wills, probate, trust, power attorneys, healthcare surrogates, and probate, divorce, and things of that nature. I've been practicing for 35 years now, I think it is. 35 years. Time flies by, doesn't it?
It does.
We're still going strong, Bob.
Almost every day now, I tell myself that.
Exactly. I agree. And I also licensed practice in Alabama also. I've been to Baldwin County, been to Connecticut County, been to Covington County, Escambia County, Mobile County, Jefferson County, and Montgomery County over the last 30-some years. So it's mostly in South Alabama, Southeast Alabama, actually. So if you got a problem in those areas, give me a call for an appointment by phone to my office, 850-433-3230. You can call in today while on the air, get free advice on the air. If you don't want to speak on the air, you can call and give your question to Mr. Hill. He will relay that question to me. Okay, so don't be frightful of appearing on the air live. He'll be glad to relay the question to me. Got a question? Please give me a call. We can start talking about probate today. First of all, want people to understand that probate is. So why do we need probate? Why do we need probate? Well, this is why when someone, your loved one, passed away, usually your mother, your father, or grandmother, grandfather, and anyone that leaves things behind. And number one, they have a will. In a will, you can leave it to your cousin, your brother, your sister, your children, your best friend, because you dictate the content of the will. You dictate what's in the will. You dictate the will's beneficiaries, okay? In that case, it says property. He left you the house over on Johnson Avenue, let's say. And it's in your friend's or sister or brother's name or your father's or mother's name. They're passed on. They can't give you a deed in your name now because God has taken them home. So in order to get the property transferred from you to them, from in their name to your name, you got to go to probate court. And the judge has to give someone the authority to sign a deed and put the property in your name, the descendants or the beneficiary or the heirs. Give someone the authority to do that for you as an official record. And that's why you need to probate someone's will or estate. Now, without a will, someone leaves property behind, you still need probate. You leave a house or a lot or the like, real property, and the person is in the decedent's name, which is the person who passed away. At that point, you need to put the property in the children's name. Let's say it's the mother who passed away, left 4 children, the property, the home house, if you will, is in their mother's name, she can't sign a deed now. So someone has the authority to put that deed from the mother's name into the children's name. Vis-a-vis, you need probate to get that done. There's no exceptions. No one tell you, well, we all agree that John Doe get it, or the third sister get the property, or our mama said she want me to have it as mine. No, that would not do it. You must go through probate, okay? That's the laws of Florida. Go ahead, Bob. I'm sorry.
And I've heard all of those things that you just said.
Yeah, the mama said, I get the house. And let me say at this point, this is really important, audience, and tell your friends and family, but share this information with them. If everyone knows that mama wants to get a house with a third child, said 1,000 times in the living room, in the kitchen, at the dinner table, and you know what mama wants to happen. But mama doesn't have a will done, that will not happen. Because the will can dictate where the property goes. Official, verified, legal will can get that done. Without a will, the third child may say, the fourth child may say, Mama wanted my sister to have the property, but she had no will. Therefore, it goes to all of us. I'm going to keep my part. I'm not going to give it to the third child. I want my part anyway, because Mama didn't have a will, so I'm going to keep what she gave me by law. If you want to resolve that problem, if you want your third child to have the property, please do a will, okay? And that's happening all the time, Bob.
Oh, yeah, and actually my mom and my dad wanted me to have the house.
Wow.
Because I guess I was the one that was there taking care of them. Because I did not want to do that because I wanted to share with my brothers and my sisters. And so prior to my mom passing or losing her mental thought process, we went down and had a will made where we put it in all the sisters and my other brother's name.
Great. Mm-hmm. Yeah, without that will, nothing's going to happen. Without that will, nothing that one wants to happen that they're told someone verbally, because then it goes to called intestate succession laws of the state of Florida. And if a mother has 4 children, no will, it goes to 4 children equally.
And I want to raise an observation, is that I did that, but we did not, I did not think to put in the will of the family possessions and so forth. And so consequently, the family went through the house and they decided, well, I want this radio and I want that and I want this and I want that. And my sister, ironically, this is kind of facetious, I had one baby picture that my mom had, and my older sister, decided that she wanted the baby picture.
Wow.
And I wanted it, but she said, no, I'm going to get it. And she took a picture of it, had her daughter to take a picture of it. Mm-hmm. Just a couple of days ago, I didn't want anybody to see it. But she sent me a picture of my baby picture that I wanted so badly just a couple of days ago. And so we may want to, as we do that, as I did, decide who gets what in the house as well, because that can become an issue.
It sure can, Bob. You're right. Personal property, particularly big items or expensive items, or even if it's sentimental items, can be identified in the will that's going to a particular person, and that'll stop the confusion. You're exactly right, Bob.
Yeah.
No doubt about that.
Yeah.
Also, let me share people in the will. You can also, if you're minor children or grandchildren, and if they're still minors when you make the will, you can also in the will indicate who you want to be the guardians of the children. If you were to pass by their minors, the will can state, it's not binding, but the will can state that. And the court would know, the judge would know what your preference was. It's not binding, though, but it's a preference to the court that helps sometimes. Actually, it really does, okay? Do trust also, Bob. We do trust, as you know. Trust is really important because trust allows you to avoid probate. Well, how is that, Mr. Gant? Well, trust, you have a trustee designated by the trust document, and it's a long document that tells how you want things to go when you pass away. And by the fact that the law says a trust can avoid probate. That's the magic about it. It's just what the law does, what the law says. And you put your property, name of the trustee before you, in the trust before you pass. You put the property, name of the trust before you pass. So it's not, the property isn't in John Jones, the father name anymore. It's in John Jones Revocable Trust. And therefore, when John Jones passed away, the revocable trust has the property and not John Jones. And the trust document states where the property goes and what should be done with the property, because it's in the trust document, because the trust document controls the property and the trust, okay? So that the trustee of the trust can have the power pursuant to the trust document to do a deed and deed the property to the person that the settler or the person who owned the property initially. They had authority to do a deed on the pursuant to the trust document, leave the property to the third child without going to court. That is the law. That's what the law says. The law gives you that option of doing it that way. No need to explain it. No need to go deep analysis. If you can, if you want, but a trust is like an individual, if you will, created by the state of, like a corporation in this individual in some regards. So the trust can do that for you without needing the judge's authority to convey the property to the beneficiaries. Okay. Also, trust is flexible. You could be conditional. What if down the road? It could be contingent upon something that's happening before someone gets the property. All those things can be written into the trust. You cannot do that with the will. Will is not that flexible. Now, it's the other point. Trusts are more expensive than wills are. A lot more expensive. But if you have the resources and have the assets you want to disperse in various ways, you got some contingencies, or, you know, when my granddaughter gets 21 years old, she's 4 years old now, you may be long gone when she gets 21, but your trustee have its instructions as indicated by the trust document what to do when that granddaughter gets 21. That trustee, he or she can do that then, 20 years later. A will can't do that, okay? So trust can be helpful to a lot of situations, really can. Also, if you have a Medicare problem down the road, you can have a life estate deed done, put that in the trust. If a life estate, it's John Doe, a life estate in the property, at that point, then Medicare can't take it, nursing home can't take it because it's a life estate. And that can also be placed in the trust too. So trusts are flexible, it's avoid probate, and that's up to the creditors, either. A lot of good things in trust, a lot of good things for a trust. They cost about a lot more than a will does, but you get a lot more things done that you want to do. Now, if you have very limited resources, such as the home house only, and there's no amount of children involved, you don't have 1 or 2 children, there's no large annuity or 401k or insurance product you're going to leave behind for your siblings or loved ones, then trust will be better for you. In essence, the more assets that you have, the more practical trust will be for you if you want to trust, if you need a trust. Okay, so we did those things also. Bob had a case this other day come in office, and same situation. The mother passed away. Like you were doing, one child took care of the mom, other children didn't. They all knew that mom wanted that person to have the house, but there was no will. So now it seems like everybody wants to make sure what they're going to get from mom that she's passed away, when they want to visit the mom when she was doing badly. You know, it happens all the time. Human nature, people do people things, you know. So if you get the affairs together legally on paper, then you can avoid those kind of confusion, disputes, and the whole 9 yards. So,
and, you know, those sort of things actually cause turmoil in the family. Sometimes that will last a lifetime.
Exactly.
You know, where if we could have planned into it much better, it would just save peace in the family among brothers and sisters, family members. But instead, you know, because we're not able to do that, it causes problems.
Sure does, Bob. And you know, we discuss these things every Wednesday at 1 o'clock because people need to know these things. You know, we have new listeners all the time, and again, share them with your friends and family members, audience. Share with your coworkers or your church members. Share this with them what you're learning now. you avoid them a lot of heartaches, save them a lot of money down the road, a lot of confusion. Share with them what you learned from my radio show every Wednesday at 1 o'clock. Free advice, so it can't be said that, no one told me. People say, no one told me. You've been told now, so share what you know, and help and bless someone else with your knowledge that you learned from this radio show. And
okay. If anybody have any questions, they can call this afternoon at 850-478-6000, 850-479-0980. Have any questions you'd like to ask Attorney Gantt about any of those issues, related issues, 850-478-6000, 850-479-0980. And now's the time to start getting those issues resolved before it develop into a problem. And it can. Mm. I do know that we've gone through it.
Yeah, and Bob, I know people that listen to the show get calls and they call in for appointments where I heard you on Mr. Bob Hill's show, or I heard you on the radio station R&E, and hear your show on Wednesdays at 1 o'clock, and they tell me that when they come in, even they don't call now while we're live, but they are listening, Bob. They are listening. And I appreciate that. They're taking their time to listen to my show. I really appreciate that. For those who are listening, I have listened also. We want to keep it flowing, Bob. We know that a lot's going on in terms of the world around us. We had a party for H.K. Matthews last Saturday.
Last Saturday evening.
Mm-hmm. He was 94 years old, was it?
94 years old, mm-hmm. and he had better mental faculties and memory than I have. Just 2 or 3 years behind him.
Exactly, but I was impressed. I was impressed also with Reverend Matthews' mental capacities. Really sharp memory, sharp mind, speaks well, can recall just as well as I can, actually. I'm like you, Bob, so yeah. He's really, really blessed to be where he is now. It was a good event. We want to applaud Matthews for work he's done in the past years, decades, to assist people in our town and around the South in terms of civil rights, what he's done all those times. And he's listening from Matthews. Thank you for your work and your efforts and your sacrifice over the years.
I've got to say this, we have seen it in some of the highest levels and some of the lowest levels. I think probably one transition that I can think of that I think it went as planned, and that is the transition of Michael Jackson, who had his estate all laid out quite well, where he wanted the mom and the kids and charities get his estate. And there were, I don't think there was any if any few lawsuits that were took place. And we just read an article just recently, over the last couple of months or so, where James Brown, who passed on I think Christmas Eve or a day or two after Christmas, around Christmas, his estate, it took, I think, 12, 15 years to get resolved. He had some things in place, but consequently, it was resolved with great family dispute. We had a chance to meet one of his sons, James Brown Jr., who actually came into town. We brought into town a few years back on a book signing, and he and his family members, sisters and family members, were all in turmoil against each other. Where, he was saying that this is the way Dad wanted it to be, and he wanted this to take place, but this sister wanted that, and that's on a high national level there. But it took the courts. It took the court years to get it resolved, and it just got his estate resolved. And of course, the legal fee that got involved in it was just, they probably got more than the family members. Yeah. We see that now, even with Aretha Franklin, who had nothing at all.
Really? No will, no nothing? Wow.
Yeah.
So, like someone would have told her, like you said, no one ever told me. Like someone would have told her that what she needs to do, not what she has to do, but what she needs to do. Maybe she was told and then heed the warning, perhaps. But it does happen. And sometimes people need to be told things more than one time. Sometimes more than 2 times. Sometimes more than 5 times before they get it, Human nature is all different. That's what we tell our audience every Wednesday, right, Bob? What they need to do
Yeah.
in that regard.
So, it is now is a good time, whether we have minimum possessions or a lot of possessions, to try to resolve it.
Exactly. Well, because sometimes, people talk about gentrification, which is the loss of usually African American property, for this country, at least in our neighborhoods, to the other ethnic groups who buy property up. And our neighborhood changes from being mostly black neighborhoods to not so black neighborhoods, if you will. You talk about what happened to the property, who bought the property, and now they're not always taking your property, okay? Now they're not. Some people may get duped, snickered, or some people may get misled, and they sell for less than what it's worth. It still happens, but they're not just taking like it did years ago. The condemnation and things like that.
We got a caller standing by. Hey, good afternoon, sir.
Yes, Mr. Can't you said something a few minutes ago? You being a black man, knowing black folks don't want nobody in their business until they die. You know that, and I know that, and look here, no. Don't no black person want you in their business until they die. So how can you discuss anything with another black person when they don't want you in their business? Some time ago, I asked you about a judge in this town. The worst judge that ever sat on the bench. I had his name right on the tip of my tongue, and I just forgot it because he gave me my first divorce back in 1963. William Beal. I understand he was the worst judge in town. I'm quite sure Reverend H.K. Matthews can testify to that also.
Okay.
Okay, one more question, Mr. Gant. Now, that Mama died 5 years ago. Nobody did anything for the estate. They kept on sending their money in for the taxes. Probably still in the mama's name. You still get that cheap tax. It's still in your name.
That's true. You're right.
Okay, now, Mr. Gant, who pays the tax when it finally comes out? That mama been dead for 5 years, but we've been paying that no taxes or just a small amount of taxes for years. Who pays that taxes?
Well, if Chris Jones or the county, Mr. Lunsford, tax collector, doesn't discover that loss, then no one pays it. And then discover that the person has been in home exemption for, in this case, 5 years, and been dead for 5 years, and it's still in the grandmother's name, and she should not have been getting home exemption deduction. So they have a way to get their money back at some point. I don't know they don't always pursue that, but I'm sure they do. But are they going to pursue it? I'm not sure, actually, what the course of action would be, but that they do at times learn that you owe money, and they can go after it.
But it's just like folks. When a person dies, nobody goes down to the voters registration office and tell them people that this person has passed away. Take their name off the roll. Nobody do.
That's right. That's true.
Mr. Jones case, if somebody would make Mr. Jones aware that this person died 2 years ago, then he would be aware that this person is dead and somebody's paying this cheap taxes and the county's losing out.
I'm going to try to get...
But somebody would, if somebody would go down there and tell Mr. Jones that, but that's Mr. Jones, sometimes you let him know that this person died. Well, I didn't say it was going to be me. I didn't say that.
Okay, well, of course not.
And I have one more thing. Mr. Hill, I'm going to ask you a question. Most houses were built on slabs years ago. And most every house had that pipe in it.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them all had that pipe in it. Now, do you know anybody that got any money from any insurance company?
For the lead pipe,
all that pipe out them houses.
the lead pipe situation. Talking
It's
about.
not lead pipe. It's not lead pipe. It caused something else, but I lost the train of thought on that pipe.
You mean
My house have it in it also. My house built in 1957. I live in Myrtle Grove. It was built on a slab. And that was the standard of buildings back in the days.
yeah, and they even did aluminum wiring in homes also.
Yes, some houses did it, but my house, fortunately, had copper wire throughout. But now what I'm saying is, how do they go in there? How can the insurance come to be responsible for replacing that pipe in them houses in their heart?
Well, it's not the replacing of the pipes. It's the damage that the pipes cause to the home. They don't replace the pipes. They simply, if that pipe the name of it that he calls it, it has a tendency to cause mold and mildew and damage to the home. And after that is the case, he is saying that based on a law, that the insurance company must pay for it. And obviously, they are, because he's making money having those claims.
One more thing for the lawyer, Mr. Gant. If I would like to give my youngest daughter power attorney, written power attorney for everything, can that be done while I'm still living?
Power of attorney? Sure, of course. Mm-hmm.
She live in Tallahassee, and let's say she would get one of my checks would come down there to her, and all she has to do with a power of attorney just sign a check and put it in the bank.
Right. Mm-hmm. If she's a power of attorney, she can. Yes, if she's your power of attorney, she can do that.
Even while I'm living.
Right. Yes, she sure can. Yeah, it's recorded with the.
It's always good. I just love talk shows, and always good to talk to you. And if you ever find out what happened to that little young fella you represented in that school thing some years ago, I sure would like to know where is he at today. I have a newspaper. Matter of fact, I left one with you.
Yeah. I'll look around for you. Okay, I know people in the neighborhood, and I think his granddad passed, I believe.
Yeah, you did. Oh, by the way, and these people talking about black folks being in jail. I heard them talk about that today. Black folks being in. But the thing is, though, Mr. Gant, you and I both know it don't take much to get a black person in jail. All you got to do is step on this toe, and if you don't say, "Oh, excuse me," fast enough, he might pull out his gun and start shooting you. That's what's so many black folks in jail.
It's not that bad. It's not that bad now. It's not that bad.
One more.
Reason why the money don't stay in the black community very long, because the service that a person needs is not in the black community. We need more than food and clothes. We need more than that. That's why the black, you can't stay in there. And you can testify that with Mr. Vernon Watson. He said he had a man to climb a tower for him. And he ain't never been able to find a black man to climb that tower. Gentlemen, take care of yourself.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Porter.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Have a great day. Yeah.
Okay. Just Mr. Porter took up the last 2 minutes there. Anybody have any questions about issues that Mr. Gant handles? We'll take those calls at 850-478-6000, 850-478-6000, or 850-479-0980. We'll take questions concerning his practice of law.
Okay, but we're waiting for the call. If you get a call, come in, and we'll also announce to the audience if you with the Kissimmee County Democratic Black Caucus. We meet on tomorrow, 6 p.m. We have a Facebook page. Please visit the Facebook page, and you can get it's by Zoom meeting. And love to have you chime in, need our talk. If you want to listen and observe, get the link from our Facebook page. It's going to be kind of Democratic Black Caucus. And look us up and get the link and chime in. We're trying to get ready for the election coming up in November, the midterms that they call them. So we get people registered to vote. Vote education is important because they're changing the rules of voting all the time. If you don't have your rules, your voting card changed properly, you'll not be able to vote. We don't want that. Of course, get the information now on how to get ready for the upcoming election in November. We'll start early. We want to start strong and finish strong, okay? So it's a wonderful show we have, and Miss Sheila, for U.S. Congress on our show, our meeting tomorrow by Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
She's been in her platform. She's going to employ as a candidate for the U.S. Congress as a Democrat for this first congressional district. So please, you want to hear what they're going to talk about, what they have plans for our community. It's tomorrow at 6 o'clock it's going to be kind of Democratic Black Caucus meeting by Zoom. And please look it up, get the link, and please chime in. We also need members to join our group. Want to know more about the organization, give me a call in my office, 850-433-3230, and I'll give you a call back and share those things with you. If you want to Zoom information to me, give me a call, and I'll give that to you also. So please, tomorrow, because we're doing it for our community and for our children behind us, and for us also. So let's get involved, let's get engaged. It's really important to do that now because things happen to our community often, a lot of times, and it's 2 years later we say, well, what happened? When did they do that? When did they do it? It should be that we know what happened because we was involved in getting it done because we was engaged in the process. So that'll be our commentary going forward, okay?
Okay.
Anything else, Bob?
That's it. Before we go, we'd like to definitely mention to the people out there that it's the beginning of the year and they want to do some financial planning or talk with someone about financial planning. Your nephew does that. He can invest in a program where they can, 10, 15, 20, 30 years from now, they will be in a pretty good financial shape because he try to plan them into where they want to go. And we're going to need that plan regardless whether we live to 30, 40, 50 years or if we have an untimely death, we'll need that plan to take care of some final expenses there. So definitely look at planning right now for retirement. Look at planning for a son, a daughter, schooling, even weddings that could be expensive as well. So you can plan into weddings, you can plan into schooling, you can plan into retirement by talking with your nephew. And if they need homeowners coverage or if they need automobile coverage, he sells those as well.
Exactly. Bob, thanks for that point. Promoted by my nephew Terrence Williams in his business, and he's insurance, annuities, state wealth products for upcoming long-term wealth and healthcare also. So give him a call. It's Keepsake Insurance, and we need to get that done. One thing, just quickly, Bob, is that one of my things I sort of promote now, talk about is life insurance in particular. We can leave here with life insurance. People talk about the wealth gap and a lot of wealth in the black community and and which is true for a lot of reasons. But in terms of individually, if we leave life insurance for our children, we're going to pass one day. Is that quote but true? And we leave a significant life insurance policy, whatever that means to you, for our children. That'll get them a better start, help them where they are, push them over the finish line, whatever. They'll be there for their use, for their need to use their monies to enhance and improve their lives once they pass away, whether they're 9 or 29, doesn't matter. Okay?
Yeah. Speaking of Terrence, we have him standing by. You were doing such a good job at explaining what he does. Hey, Mr. Williams, how you doing?
I'm doing great today. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well.
Doing fine, too. Thank you. Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me in today. I really appreciate it.
Well, the pleasure's all mine. You're the bearer of good news, and you, too, as your nephew, sell his services that are essential to our lives. you sell products that are essential to our lives because if we're going to drive, we need coverage. If we're going to live, we need coverage on that, and we all need to plan for retirement, or we all need to plan for somebody's education.
Mr. Hill, let me say, I'm going to let you and Terrence share with the audience what they're doing. I have something going on pretty soon in my office, so we've enjoyed the show, enjoyed the conversation, and we'll see you next Wednesday. Okay, thank you.
You have a great one, sir.
Bye.
Okay. Mr. Williams?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you also sell automobile and homeowners, am I correct?
That's correct. Yes, sir. Automobile, homeowners, and life insurance, all the protection you need. You know, we have the protection in our life, around our family, around ourselves. Our job and goal is to be sure you have all your protection you need, all your walls are up, and you're good to go for any situation you may come across.
And for them to look at their costs, and I know they can go on the line and pull up coverage for the automobile, but there's an advantage of you talking with them about it because you can direct them to the right coverage, and who knows, you can probably ask them some questions to save them money. But for individuals who want to look at the possibility of saving more money than on the Internet, they can give you a call.
That's correct. Yes, sir. 850-723-8434, 850-723-8434. Call me anytime. You can even give me a text me information, and I can speak to you that way if it's easier for you, and then we can set something up for a free quote, free review as well. Yes, sir. I am available. It's for auto through Progressive, which you know about, life and homeowners. Yes, sir.
Okay, and what's that number they need to call?
850-723-8434.